On today's episode of Reffing with the Sappers, we're going to review a game from December 2nd. It was the last game that I refereed in 2023 that was a club game. It was a U13 Boys, and it was actually pretty exciting. There's a lot that happens in this game. It has a little bit of everything from a referee perspective, and we have the good audio from the microphone.
The
So,
only thing you're missing is me
and
as Naon. I
Katie
know,
wasn't on this one.
it's tragic.
So, Loomis is going to be in the gray, Woodland's going to be in the white, and let's get going. Getting this match started off with a bang. Our very first decision happens just seconds after kickoff. The ball's only been kicked to this corner. It's going to come up here, and we'll see this player on the right get charged, and we make that call and go on.
Continuing on in the first minute, because apparently this game started off with a bang, we've got a no call that we can't really agree if it should or shouldn't have been correct. So let's see it. So right there, I say in this clip primarily is mostly the jersey pulling is what I'm mainly focused on because you can see it like right there. He's pulling his jersey back. He's like doing that type of stuff. But we've got someone over here that disagrees.
Yeah, from my perspective in the match, what I saw is that right here, this white player mishandles the ball. And then from there on out, he's like, the ball's actually behind him. He's trying to like reach back and kick for it. And yes, this Loomis player in gray probably gives a little bit more. I didn't think it really made an impact on the game, so I let it go. And frankly, just watching it here, I think it's borderline. I think you could go either way, but I'm okay with it being a no call. So because we can't agree, Katie's 100% confident it's a foul, and I think it's okay to be a no call. We're going to take the half-point deduction per the
Well,
rules.
what do you think in the comments? Tell us what you think about this because it's
Yeah.
house divided.
Who's right? Who's right? Minute 4, we've got the ball coming up from the keeper. Here, sticks his foot out, gets the ball with the back of his heel. White then kind of trips over the ball, and I made that, and I think that is correct. Several minutes go by before we end up with our next decision. This is a throw in, and it's coming to this white player, and then as he comes through, this gray player behind him is trying to kick the ball, and he pulls up, but not quite in time, and he gets this player his knee, and you see when he goes down, he's right now based on where I was relative to this. I was looking up to it from the directly through it, so I couldn't see that contact from his knee to his thigh, and frankly I just missed it. So I was looking more for if there was any push. I didn't really see a push, but I missed that piece. Yeah, that's gonna be a deduction for us. Up next, we're going to see the ball here on the near side, and the player is going to body around trying to kick it and send it up the field, but there wasn't really a push there. He just tried to whip his body, so made that a no call and kept the game flowing. Minute 17, the ball's coming, and right there, player tries to one-time it to his teammate and process the ball, and this defender makes a really nice play on it, stops it, and then as White tries to ends up falling down, an all-ball challenge, and let that one go. It's about 7 minutes later, and White has scored a goal, and they are on a breakaway here. The ball is coming up. You can see it coming out of the top of the screen because it was a long kick. Great defender's trying to stop it, and he jumps there, and he's trying to clear that ball, and that always ends up with an awkward angle. Now you see he kind of goes forward, and you see this White player has his arm out a little bit. And okay, maybe there's a bit of some push there, but I felt like it was pretty light. Player had technically gotten the ball exactly like he wanted to, so I felt like it was just a fair challenge. I don't know that you'd be wrong to call this, but
I
I'm
don't think I don't think that we're wrong to not call it
yeah,
that.
comfortable with the no call. In minute 26, we've got a ball that's coming down. These two players lunge for it, and you just see Gray tries to go up and kick it in the process, right in the stomach. So really, really easy call. I do decide not to yellow card him there because he got him with his heel, not with the cleats. I didn't necessarily think it was reckless, so it's right on the borderline. It's kind of shady, but I go ahead and grant the kick. Now I do point the wrong direction. See here, I'm pointing this way. I pointed the wrong direction. It's white kick, white kick.
I pointed the wrong way. It's white kick.
Happens sometimes. I think it happened to me 2 times in this game.
But after that call, we've got a little bit of a good discussion here. So, the thing that I would like to discuss is wall mechanics as a referee. Because right now, the white team is trying to set up a kick, and the gray team is allowed to set up a wall. Though, what the laws of the game says is that the wall must be 10 yards away. Now, you'll see a lot of people set up like 7 yards away, 8 yards away, but in some situations, it's a little bit different. And in this instance, I think it's good as a referee to just enforce that 10 yard, even if the players don't ask for it. Though, what a lot of coaches will say is that, well, the other team didn't ask for the 10 yards, so why are you making me back up? In the laws of the game, it says nothing about whether or not the team asks for the 10 yards. If it's clear that it's not 10 yards away and it's not just like a simple mistake of like 1 or 2 yards, then I think that the players should have enough maturity to be 10 yards away or at least try to get 10 yards away instead of staying 1 or 2 yards, 5 yards away from the ball. Now, the coach on the far sideline is complaining that, oh, the white team didn't ask for it. But again, it doesn't matter if the white team didn't ask. If it's clearly not 10 yards away, you should still back them up from it.
Next, we've got a ball that's up for grabs, and black is trying to get to it, but it actually goes to the player who makes first contact with it. He's in possession of that, except for black or gray charges through him. Straightforward all to make in that situation. In minute 28, we've got white coming out of their defensive third. There's but then gray makes a challenge. He ends up tripping down. But black or gray does get the ball here, but he also goes through this white player's leg. So, for me, this is kind of a textbook example of how you can get the ball and still commit a foul. Minute 32, the ball is and then white kind of has a good chance to get it. I judge
Oh,
that
yeah.
this gray player grabs him. It's kind of spins white and felt like it was a very clear pull there. Some parents were like, "Hey, almost didn't even touch him, buddy." Ball. I was like, "No, no, he grabbed him." So
You can
let's
see it from back here. Like, I don't know what they're talking
yeah,
about.
let's
Let's
listen
listen
to
to
it
it
here.
here.
Back here. He grabbed him and pulled. God, back here.
So you start to even hear it a little bit further away. Some parents, starting to chatter a little bit. That'll be more important as the game goes on, but it's the beginnings of that in this game. And that ended up being our last call before the half.
Halftime, halftime.
So during the halftime discussion with my assistant referees, we talked about how there had just been a whole bunch, and we've seen it here as we've reviewed. There's a lot of no calls because they were just like almost a foul. And so, it felt like one of those games kind of riding like right on the line. So we'll see some of that play out. There's definitely more decisions in the second half as this game progresses. Let's go.
35 minutes. Good luck.
No more than 15 seconds after the kickoff, we have our first decision of the second half. White advance the ball, but doesn't like that the defender's there. So he makes some extra space and gives me a really easy call to start the second half. In minute 37, Gray scores an equalizing goal. And normally we don't review goals, but I want to talk about it here because throughout this match, because at the end of this match, the white team's coach, complains that the assistant referee on this end is not calling offside correctly. And I want to show this as an example because he did talk about this one and complain a little bit about this first goal. So the ball is over here, and Woodland is going to the ball up there, and that's the moment of
That's what it
decision.
is.
It's going to go to his right winger, and you can see he's
He's
clear.
very clearly onside. He's not even 1 or 2 yards onside. He's like 3 yards, 3 or 4 yards.
This ball goes down. It plays out for a little bit here. Ultimately, this kid ends up getting a really nice, off of a rebound. But I don't know why this coach complained about that one because it's very clearly onside. Here we'll see a pretty straightforward handball. The ball is up there, and White is just trying to kick this ball up, and Gray comes in. And what I really called him for is, a lot of times if he was pulling his arms in, I would think it was a natural position, but his arm was out. He might be trying to move his arm out of the way, but it definitely was out. It felt like it was not natural, and it gave an unfair advantage. So called that one and gave him the kick. In the 40th minute, we have almost an exact repeat of a call from from the pull a couple of plays ago, but just a different angle. So the ball's in the middle of the screen right there. White gets position, and then Gray player grabs him from behind, pulls his arm. Call that, and I grant that kick. Exactly what happened just a couple of minutes before. So
The next decision is going to be a no call for offside, which we don't really review, but is important to this game's energy because at the end of the game, this was one of the calls that the coaches were complaining about. The Loomis player is bringing up the ball. And right here, we can see that the Loomis player is clearly offside, even though at this angle, it makes it look kind of weird. But when we adjust for it, it looks like he would be like 1 or 2 steps offside. We can clearly see that. But let's see what actually happens in this. He kicks the ball, but then the defense touches it. Now, in this situation, there are a few considerations that you have to make. One, was it a deliberate play by the defense? Because I feel like Graves is off of them and they had like no shot of controlling the ball.
Or an uncontrolled lunge.
Or an uncontrolled lunge, then that doesn't count as resetting offside. So in this play, we can see that the white player deliberately kicks his foot up to go and get that ball. So let's just replay it so that we can see that explanation. Kicks it, and he purposely does not continue his forward. He makes sure that that foot stays up so he can try to get the ball. Clearly purposeful, and it goes up into the air. And so I feel like that was controlled by him. So when that player gets the ball, he's no longer going to be called an offside foul because the defense made a deliberate play that they could have gotten the ball from. And so this resets the offside and should not be called an offside offense. And so the AR does a really good job of not calling this, but the coaches are going to bring this up later and say, no, but this should have been offside as like a thing. But we can see here that it's not really offside because the defense purposely played it.
Back after some technical difficulties here.
And the next day, that's why my hair looks less voluminous.
Yeah. We had some technical difficulties with the computer, so now we're recording the next day after. That's why Katie's all dolled up again. Yeah, okay.
It's literally just like lip gloss and mascara.
Here in the 43rd minute, we're going to see 3 decisions in rapid succession, and we're going to get a lot of noise from the sideline on the Loomis side, and we're going to end up with a parent earning the coach a yellow card for something that they say. So let's watch and see what happens. The ball is in the far corner, about as far away from the camera as you can see. The ball comes up here, and there is a challenge between these 2 players. And what I saw is that both of those players kind of got it 50-50. Then it comes over here. You can't see it very clearly because I'm in the way of the camera. Maybe you just have to take my word for it, but this white player actually got the ball and kicked it up to his teammate here. So he was trying to keep that gray player from getting it, but he kicks it up to his teammate, who then Gray go down, but that's because White had his foot out getting the ball, and Gray then trips over it. The ball come up here, and here between these 2 players. And there's a lot of 50-50 in this. Like, they get the ball, they both get it, but right here, there's a little bit of upper body fouling. They're both kind of pulling each other. So I think Greg might have pulled a little bit first, but White pulled back. So I just viewed it was 50-50, and I had a good view between them. And then you see Gray throw his leg out to kick this ball forward. And in the process, he does go down here. And it looks a little bit like he falls like it could be a push. But you see this white player, he never gets any arm extensions. I just thought it was a lot of 50-50. And so maybe there were some fouls, but it was kind of some fouls both directions. So who do you give it to?
I would say that that is a good no call.
So now the parents, and starting with the coach, they didn't agree with this. So let's listen to the audio.
Still in. No.
you hear a parent there at the end of the, well, first you hear them say, there's a foul, there's another foul. And then after the third kind of potential one or third decision point, you hear one say, what is it going to hurt your feelings if you make a call here? And so let's see how I handle that situation. Now, it's a parent saying that, it's not the coach.
We're going to stop that right now.
Quiet down, guys.
All right.
Yeah, that was interesting. So you can hear, I'm
Doing
wearing.
job now. This is crazy. Me personally, I would not take that level of disrespect.
The assistant coach does go over and say, hey, stop. So we'll hear that.
Hey, quiet down, guys.
I do decide I'm going to go ahead and give the coach the caution because I feel like the sideline has earned that for him. Now, I suppose it's debatable whether or not I should, give it another chance here, but I just felt like that was egregious enough. I wanted to set the tone on the first one so that I would kind of empower the coach to actually manage the sideline because now he's on the verge of that second one.
All right, here's the first one. All right, for the parents. I know. So the first one's free. First one's free. Next one, we get to clear them.
I think it's a great way to handle it. I'm comfortable with that.
And something that like the parents say like especially on the third one that we reviewed was mainly what their perspective is on the game. Because if their kid fouls first, then they're like, "Oh, blah blah blah." And then if the other kid retaliates, then they see it as like, "Oh, injustice." So it's honestly just a lose-lose situation because the parents will always be biased in their kid's favor or skew it in a way that makes their kid look better when it was more 50-50 with fouls.
Magically in the 50-50, they only see their 50.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, we've got a challenge here between this white and black player down in black's defensive third. And then as black kind of gets possession of it, go back here, the black player away, and white, in sticking their foot in, just kind of misses the ball and clips this black or gray player on the foot. So really easy call there and give them a kick from their defending third. On to the 47th minute, we've got two calls in rapid succession, and they're near the camera with this black or this gray and this white player challenging for it. Black kicks it around. White gets position on him here, and then gray falls down, but you don't really see a push there. So I think that's a good no call. But then as they're battling for it here, this gray player, it's like he's trying to swing his leg around and get this ball. And in the process, he brings white down from the back of his knees. So watch that in full speed here. You can see him fall. But I do see that, and I'm kind of coming in and I'm thinking about calling it. But I do see this player's got a chance away, and you see he kind of runs out here and then gets a really nice run in. So I apply advantage on that.
Our next decision is going to be an offside call that was not made. And the reason that we're reviewing this when we don't normally do, because the coach later in the game complains about one of the goals not being valid because of an offside decision. But what would he know at the halfway mark? But regardless, right here is the moment of decision. We've got it paused. The ball's out of screen. It's near the top left-hand corner. There are two players that are main contenders in this spot. This player is going to make an active play and touch the ball, and this player is going to be the one that scores. Right here is the moment of decision, and this white player is going to be the one that we're focusing on for our second to last defender. And right here, it looks like he is the farthest back away, and it looks like he is actually like maybe like a step or two in an onside position. And this one over here,
Definitely on.
he hasn't even gotten into the penalty box. Like, is this even like a competition here? So when the ball is kicked, it goes to this player, touches, and he's running on screen to go and get it in an onside position when the moment of decision actually happened. And so this is a good no call by the AR.
About a minute later, we've got a foul here for a pull that is egregious enough that I give a yellow card for it. Now, I do let it play a little bit to see if an advantage develops, but watch here, white's on this breakaway. Black just reaches out and grabs him here, like just grabs him. And I do give him a yellow card. So let's listen to the audio real quick because this is a situation this coach tries to kind of give his input that he thinks it should be a yellow card. Now, I'm already planning to give a yellow card, but I don't really like that when they, try to, provide that extra, when they try to almost coach the refs. So let's listen here.
Let me manage the game, please.
So yeah, I just, I ask him politely, like, hey, just leave that to me. I'll manage that part of the game. But yeah, anyway, I think that's the correct decision for the foul and correct decision for the card.
I think the general rule with like complaining that something hasn't been called is one to make sure that it doesn't get done first. So like if they're about to like restart the play and then like you don't give the yellow card, then I think that's when like you start going yellow card, like stuff like that. But if like they haven't even set up the ball, it like he was clearly getting something out of his pocket. Like at that point, do you really need to complain? Like Yap City over there. Like what?
On to the 55th minute of this match, we have a call for for playing in a dangerous manner due to a high kick. Throw-ins coming to these players. If I play this through, right about this white player kicks up super high, his foot gets within just a couple of inches of a great player. Pretty easy playing in a dangerous manner call. No contact made, so an indirect free kick to restart.
Up next, we've got an offside decision that the coach actually ended up getting a yellow card for. So right now we've paused it at the moment of decision. And so right here, we've got the white player that's the farthest back. And here we've got the offside player, or not offside player. And right here we've got the person on the offense. Now, right here, the camera angles do not do this play any justice because it is so hard to tell from this angle. But I think that if we adjust for the angle, I feel like this player, I honestly feel like it's a little bit too close to tell just from this, what we've got right now. But what do you guys think? Like, maybe you guys can zoom in with like your phones. What do you guys think about this call? Should we call it something different? Do you think it's on? Do you think it's off?
And the yellow line that you'll see in the published video, we don't actually have that while we're commentating. We have to add that in post-production. So I'm not sure what it'll show, but it's too close to call here. We've been up close there with a magnifying glass and with a ruler, and we've got to give my AR here the benefit of the doubt. Now,
And this angle also shows why spectators who are on the other side of the field or spectators that are like at the halfway line and not near to it, they don't really have the best angle on it.
so we're going to listen to the audio here because we hear the parents start yelling, hey, it's offside, it's offside. And then we end up actually hearing them say that, does your lineman even know what offside is? Which I felt was crossing the line to being personal and public and provocative. So after I hear him say that, and it's definitely public, personal, and provocative, I decide I'm going to come over and give him a card. This is when he starts to say, hey, there's been like 3 decisions that we think are wrong. Now, as we've talked here and we've reviewed, we kind of think they're all correct. Let's listen here.
Coach, you know it's not just a question.
No, I'm not sarcastic. I'm
Coach,
serious.
coach.
It's been like three of them, sir.
Coach,
This discussion goes on for a little bit because he wants to talk about all 3 of the decisions that's happened. We have a little bit of back and forth. At the end of it, I actually just kind of tell him, hey, look, why don't you focus on coaching? Let us focus on refereeing, and we'll stay out of each other's way. But yeah, ultimately, we're going to call those 2 correct decisions, one for the offside decision and one for the card to the coach for what he said there. On to the 62nd minute, we've got a charge here where on the right side of our screen, we've got white and gray there battling. White's got position and black just goes through his back, charges there. One is super straightforward. Then on to the 66th minute, we've got a foul here in the center of the field. Gray and white are battling for it. White tries to stick his foot in and get this ball, but so he kind of misses the ball and ends up tripping. There he goes down. Call that right away. Getting into the final minutes and the last few calls. Now, at this point, Gray is winning 2-1, but White has got several attacks going. So they're starting to commit some tactical fouls to stop those. So we're going to see that in this situation. So the ball is coming up. White's kind of got a step. Watch right behind him, right there. Gray is actually pulling on his shirt and pulls him back off of this ball in order to stop him from going. So I call that right away. Yellow card for stopping a promising attack, which I think is the correct decision there. It's a little bit hard to see from this angle, but he had his shirt and was pulling him over on it. Up next, we're going to see another situation where Gray is actually trying to commit a foul, another one of these tactical fouls. White has the ball. They are in their defending third, entering the middle, but this White player's got a breakaway. He tries to reach out and make a pull, but he doesn't. I had a nice angle on that, so he's trying to actually commit a foul, but the player is just out of reach of him, and he can't actually make the pull. This is one that gets like parents upset because but they just don't realize he didn't actually make the contact. So I think we're going to call that a correct decision for, no foul actually being committed, even though they wanted to commit one. Now, 30 seconds later, we've got the ball down on Gray's defending third. The ball is here in the middle, and these two players are kind of challenging for. And right about here, Gray kicks it out. I thought that I saw White kick that ball forward, and so I thought it was a 50. If I stop it right there, it actually looks like White's leg comes through the back of this black player. I thought his foot was in front in real time on the field, so I think I might have missed that one based on what we see here on the camera. I wish it was higher definition, but I think we should probably call that a deduction. But I do tell them to let it, and then they get up, and then White breakaway, and Gray actually grabs him by the shirt there, and then back there because be off to the races. So I end up calling that foul, which I think is a foul for a pull. And it is unsporting because I thought they were about to get a full on breakaway. I think there's really three quick decisions. The first one was the no call that I probably should have called. But then right after that, there was definitely a pull, which I did call and is correct. And I think it's also unsporting. So we're going to take a deduction out of those three decisions. Our final call of this match is going to be a trip. White wins the ball here, but Gray's teammate is coming in from the side, tries to in the process, just flipped on the ankle by this White player. Really easy call to end the match, and then we end up blowing the whistle just a few seconds later.
With that, that ends our match. So with 37 decision and 2.5 deductions, that gives us a final Sapper score of 93.2%. So this was a really good game, bordering on a great game. We started out kind of rough, but we got in our stride by the end of it. So I think that was a really good game, had some interesting calls.
This game had a little bit of everything. As you saw as we went through, it was close the whole game. It was two teams going at it. There was a lot of almost calls, so it was a lot of borderline throughout the whole thing. Got some dissent from both sidelines. Would like to see the spectators be a little bit better behaved on frankly both sidelines, for good sportsmanship and a good example for the kids. But this was definitely an interesting way to end the year in the last game of 2023. So hope you enjoyed it and got something out of it.
I'm Katie.
And I'm Scott.
And
we'll see you out on the pitch. Let's go.
And we ended right when you had.
I'm late to go ref the adult league.
And bro, the new logo that we've got for Roseville is actually kind of fire.
Okay, minute 4. We've got the ball coming up from.
Excuse me.
You can eat here. I don't think I can wait for you to swallow those. I might just have to record while you're chewing. Bro.
No, but he's suspicious for asking if people knew me.
Maybe he's interested.
Then maybe he needs to not harass random people.
Yeah.
I do. He has my number. He has my Snap. He has my Insta. He has my TikTok.
Mhm.
Like, there are 4 platforms that you can message me on rather than harassing my friends. I could be a British person. Well, I think I'm a British accent. I could be a British person.
Okay. So first, hey, I want you to see your nimble dad here. Watch these crazy agility here. Like, oh yes, it's like the Matrix.
I'm so proud that
Mhm.
you pulled off that little hop.
I know, right?
Ain't no way no! No!
Am I reading?
The suggested 8 ball. No way.
What is 8 ball?
Bro really just went in with the 8 ball.
I take it this is bad.
So, quick version here. Apparently, one of my brother's friends was asking random people at lunch if they knew me, and then if they said yes, if they thought that was hot. And then, which by the way, I think I'm hot. Anyway,
And humble.
and humble, you can tell. But anyway, I messaged him about it when I learned it. Like, I just recently messaged him. And I was like, why are you asking random people if they know me? And then he was like, I don't know, my dumbass friends were like, my dumb friends were like trying to mess with Aaron because he was with us at lunch. And I was like, then why are you asking them if I'm hot? And then he's like, let me pull out the messages. Bro said you're gonna have to ask my dummy friends about that one. I think they were just trying to mess with Aaron at that point. Bro then sends 8 ball, like some game pigeon. And then he goes, you going to the dance tonight though? Bro really went to the dance.
Okay. I have no idea what any of that actually means. Camera's working. Don't make me freak out. Don't make me freak out. Japers. Start cursing again. All right.
That was funny.
Okay. Are you ready? Do you want your arms up when I start?
Oh, we need to slow down.
All right. We do need to review this because I give this coach a yellow card later for Dissent for saying, and he said, "What are you doing?" Oh my goodness.